Hi. Good afternoon. Hey everybody. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you coming and check out what's going on today. I have a request from Lalilula. Hey Lalilula. I'm sorry you're suffering. I've been through that. It's so good to say that in past tense. I've been through that. And I really hope we can help you get past that. So I wrote, with Michael's help, a book called Rise. You'll find that on my website, my store at crackedpotpublications.com. It's a cheap book, not expensive, and really helps. Now, I asked Michael, we want to get you some help right away. He did recommend Rise, that's why he had me write it. It can help you not only get relief from your grief, but it can lead to your emancipation completely from the illusion of being a character trapped in your self-talk, unsupervised mind activity, running away with you, attacking your peace. Let's talk about unconsciousness and lucidity. Comparing the two. Unconsciousness is when you're identified, typically with your, when you're in identification with, because you're completely immersed in this. You're not doing anything actively. So you can't say, I am identified. No, you're in, as in immersed in identification. You're sleeping deeply in identification with a story, with self-talk that goes on constantly in your head, not necessarily in the form of an inner chat, or monologue or dialogue. It can be, it most often is in the form when it is troubling you, when it is a burden, asking to be released. It results in anxiety and depression and bipolar and OCD and paranoia and all kinds of symbolic interpretations of self-talk that's not being done with words, it's being done in emotions, and a lot of times it's stored in your body, sorts of emotions, where you have to not just read it's easiest if the self-talk is just words going through your head where you're talking to yourself bitterly or anxiously about something. When it becomes emotions, it's a little harder to decipher. It requires deep honesty with yourself about what you're actually feeling. You have to put those feelings into words, because when you distill them down to their purest essence, what happens is you, the real you, the witnessing consciousness, sees most often that they're absurd or they're wrong, completely illusory. If they have even a shred of truth in them, the next thing the witnessing consciousness observes is that they're not helpful. And a very interesting thing happens at this point, because consciousness is actually observing the character that you've talked yourself into believing you are here. And when consciousness observes this self-talk that you have been keeping hidden, secret from yourself, by only carrying it as emotion, or only carrying it even deeper, secreted from yourself in your body. When consciousness observes it for what it actually is, because you're being honest with yourself. A separation occurs between what you are, consciousness, and the character you're dreaming as consciousness itself. You're dreaming you are this character. So, and the way you're dreaming it is by investing all this energy and attention in the emotions and the self-talk, or the body, the latent in your body feelings that make that character feel more real to you. Now, who you are is precious, and every experience is cherished. But in the act of observing the way you're sabotaging your own bliss with your self-talk, there is an opportunity for consciousness to wield its personal holy will. The personal holy will happens when the consciousness observes the self-talk, emotional, actual words, or stored in the body that has been impairing its bliss. And it simply decides that's a ridiculous thing to do to itself. It's not loving to itself, and it's not helpful to anyone or loving to anyone. And all of the energy that consciousness had been unconsciously not observing itself, investing in that unhealthy talk, comes back to the consciousness itself. You'll actually feel the strength, the peace, the clarity grow every time you use this process of distilling the body feeling and the emotion feelings and the self-talk down to exactly what you're saying to yourself in its purest form, and then witnessing it honestly and asking, is that true? It's usually apparent right away that it's not. That's why you've been keeping it secret from yourself, hiding it in your emotions rather than speaking it into words. Then there is a greater, that's the personal holy will. You wield your will by taking back your power from things that do not serve you. Then there's the collective holy will. The collective holy will is simply that you learn to do this because it lights the fire of your consciousness, and you become the witnessing observer. You become capable from consciousness witnessing itself in that lucidity, in the dream of your world, of your story. You become capable of changing anything. And collectively, the will that is wholly shared is holy because all creation shares the will that you learn to do this, that this become rampant in the world because it will change the world we collectively experience. I hope that makes sense. You must be honest. Now he says I should talk to you about another technique that he's taught me. I went through in 2021 Lexapro withdrawals, and at the same time with drastic cutting in my pain meds, which had been interacting and nearly killed me several times. Undiagnosed for a long time. Michael told me what was wrong and we fixed it. And it with the doctor's supervision and agreement, of course. Anyway, so I went through this terrible period when the meds were withdrawn. Well, I should say when I quit them. where my previously chemically chainmailed and protected mind ran amok. To say it attacked my peace would be silly, because it actually totally destroyed my peace. I had no capacity for peace at all. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't really eat. Constant anxiety, dread. The dread. I was sure I was going to die. And that's why I started spreading the message again that I came back to deliver at the age of 20. Because it was now or never. And I didn't want to have wasted all of what I've gone through in this world by not accomplishing it. I've got a lot healthier since I started. But in any case, so I understand what you're going through, and that's why we wrote Rise, and why we're doing this, to get speedy relief for people and to teach them these techniques. The thing is, when your mind is like a teething puppy. If you don't give it something specific to chew on, it will destroy your house. So, when it's running amok, what you have to do is you have to take back the power that it is robbing from you and using to attack your peace. And you do this by a process of imagifesting. Lalilula, you asked how to get in. Okay. Imagifesting is how you get in. There's more on this in Rise. Check it out, please. To discover that you have this power to wield your holy will. It's quite the tongue twister. You need to get very relaxed. I recommend theta-inducing, theta as a brainwave pattern, theta-inducing binaural beats music. Find some that really works for you. Headphones, preferably noise blocking, active noise canceling. Use them. Get deeply relaxed listening to this music. Better if it reminds you of the most wonderful place you've ever been. If the music and the acoustics remind you of the most wonderful place you've ever been, a place you want to be all the time, a place that's deep in your heart that soothes you and reminds you of the feelings you get when you've just surmounted the greatest obstacles, when you finally triumphed, because I'm going to turn off the barnyard for right now. When you finally triumphed over something that's been blocking your bliss. A place that reminds you of that feeling. Get deeply centered in that feeling. Then I want you, with your eyes closed, and in a playful, loving way. Hopefully we've gotten to our heart space at this juncture. In a playful, loving way, being loving to yourself. Focus all your attention on this place. Imagifest it for yourself. Don't observe it like you're peeking into it through a window. Feel it all around you. Hear it. Smell it. Open your mouth and taste the air. Imagifest it in every detail. Birds calling. Are there people? Or is this just a place for you right now? Completely pour your attention into making this environment as real as possible. This is in your power. This is how you take power away from the teething puppy of your unsupervised mind. It is unsupervised because you're not yet lucid. You are not consciousness itself, conscious of itself, because you're not generally in your life observing your thoughts and throwing out, using your holy will, the ones that are not serving you. You're still feeding them. You don't catch yourself feeding them, and that's what you need to do. You need to observe yourself feeding those thoughts in order to, from the state of consciousness itself, exercise your holy will, wield it, and throw those thoughts out. Just take back your energy. This is enlightenment applied to the earth realm. That's what Rise, the book, is. It's a field guide to earth venue. So, once you have imagifested this environment for yourself, keep practicing it. Keep practicing going there. This shows you what you are and what you're capable of. Now, mind you, when you first start imagifesting, your imagination may not be very big, but it gets stronger with your effort by repeated investments in this. And one day, this is the way it worked with me. I worked for months at imagifesting this environment. I even made an audio file to simulate it in theta and delta to help me get there. And things that I had to purposefully imagifest for myself, wielding my will when I first started doing this. Months later, I had stopped doing the exercise for a while because I'd gotten relief. I was feeling good. And months later, I went back in there in the course of writing my fiction series. I went back into that space, and things that I had wielded my will to make an impression of, sensory impressions of, now were vivid. And they had animated themselves. The birds I had had to work to imagine and see and hear were behaving on their own. So this grows, and it becomes both a cherished space in your heart, a cherished exercise that takes energy away from the mind that's running roughshod over you, the consciousness, because you, the consciousness, have not been supervising it. You supervise it first by learning to simply take all of your mental energy, all of your imagination, and imagifest this beautiful experience for yourself. It's a wonderful gift to be able to give yourself. Then, I will tell you, Michael says to tell you briefly, you must be honest with yourself and realize that all of your suffering is usually grievances you're holding against yourself, the situation, or others. And that you have to, from within this imagifested heart space, personal sanctuary, go in there and will yourself to release those grievances. Make for yourself your own unique ceremony. Is this a seaside sanctuary? Can you give it a Viking burial at sea? Send it away out to sea on fire with your blessing? Not with your anger, but with your blessing. Watch it go up in smoke. You get the idea. I really hope you'll try these techniques. I really hope you'll check out Rise. And realize, too, once you have wakened as consciousness, observing what was previously you were keeping from yourself, it's kind of your responsibility to help others get there too. Now, it's a hard thing to teach others, and they will not learn it until they're ready. But any way you can share the message, maybe even just refer people to this channel, any way you can share the message helps to waken others as consciousness, lucid within the dream of their lives, so that they too can replace passing pleasures with lasting joy of knowing what they are. Thanks. Thanks for your question. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for subscribing. Please like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. I love you. But I'm afraid I have to put your eye out again.